All right, good morning, everybody. We're trying to play with something new again today.
Fun stuff. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah,
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
yeah, I'm going to turn y'all up a little bit, but yeah. See, my volume's perfect because I talk loud.
I can talk loud.
We're here at Loco this morning.
Loco.
I'm going to have to talk quieter.
Is that possible?
We'll figure it out.
Okay. Testing.
And so today's going to be a little different. Like I said, we're setting up differently. We got new setup. I love the place.
It's beautiful.
Scott Fell's here with us this morning. Now, Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing good, hoping for my sister to hurry up and get here.
No, you're going to do great.
What are you nervous for?
I'm not nervous.
He's just on the spot.
We talk
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah,
No mental preparation.
That's right. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
yeah. Scott got thrown into this last second. It was his sister's running a little behind. She was supposed to be here this morning, and she got her dates mixed up. So Scott got drug in real quick. But we want to talk about the business anyways. Loco, tell us about the store.
Well, we've got everything you need to relax, whether it's coffee, CBD, sitting in the back enjoying a cigar. We've got a walk-in humidor and some beer.
What, a walk-in humidor?
A walk-in humidor, yeah, that's where you keep all the cigars.
Oh.
Keeps them fresh.
Keeps them fresh. And so you can walk in and shop them like you would a beer cave.
Exactly.
Okay.
Except it's a cigar cave.
Nice. Fancy.
And we've also have Dr. Brad Shapiro's supplements too. He makes an appearance here in his life size.
His life size.
It's funny because it really is life size. The first time I saw it when I walked into the his clinic, you open the door and there it is, just smacking you right in the face.
He's a character.
He is a trip. I hope he's enjoying his trip out in Arizona right now. He's out there for a clinic,
Oh, nice.
learning all new ways to torture and turn our bodies and twist us and poke us.
Sedona?
I don't. No, I think it's in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not where your daughter just came from. No, she came from Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see pictures of friends that are in Arizona, and you see you think Arizona is being really nice weather, but it's one day it's hot and the next day it's snowing.
Depends on what part of Arizona you're in. Like it's so long.
Yeah.
It takes up a lot of, there's a lot of different climates that go through there. Nevada, you think Nevada's just all desert, but there's some really great skiing in Nevada.
Yeah. Last year I was in Taos skiing. It was really nice. Beautiful.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from the Chicago area.
Okay.
Yeah. I moved here in 2014, and I really like it here.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Chicago to here, what's the
Oh, it's
option?
beautiful.
Okay, pizza.
Yeah.
Do you like the pizza down here? Let's be honest
It's
about
okay.
this.
There's going to be good pizza. You know, when you're in the mood for pizza, there's good pizza around here.
Because y'all don't serve pizza in Chicago.
What do you mean?
Sir.
That's not pizza. That's like
Well, you know, people.
a cake.
Well, people think of deep dish pizza, but really Chicago style pizza is the real thin cracker crust. But we think of it as that deep dish, which is really good too.
I'll never forget the first time I had deep dish pizzas in Chicago, and we were out by the lake shore. Stopped through the restaurant we stopped into, but I was like, I want medium pizzas too. I was like, I want a medium pizza, and the guy's like, no. I was like, yeah, I want a medium pizza. He goes, you won't be able to eat a medium pizza.
Right.
I was like, there's two of us. I can eat a medium pizza. He's like,
Not ours.
he goes, let's do a slice and see how you feel after you eat a slice.
Wow.
And I couldn't finish the slice.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it's like 3 inches thick.
Oh, man.
There's a place. I don't know if it's still in existence, but it's called Giordano's.
Oh, their chocolate's my favorite.
Yeah, and they have spinach souffle stuffed pizza. I mean, you can only eat one slice of it, but oh man, that is
Phenomenal.
Yeah, that is we went in there because I had to get chocolate from there
Mhm.
because you just can't.
Giordano's is chocolate?
Oh, yes. They make some of the best chocolate on the planet.
Did not know that.
I know
Yes.
nothing. I've
It
never
is
been to
so good.
Chicago.
You know, the only thing I miss from Chicago, if you're talking about food, is an Italian beef sandwich.
Oh, those are good too.
That's the first thing I get when I go back.
Yeah, I can understand that. My favorite place to eat in Chicago is the hot dog stand outside Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite spots. Those when they're mean. I mean, they're horrible to you. The
It's
people that
8:12, and y'all are making me want pizza and hot dogs.
I don't know. There's something about having a hot dog inside of Wrigley Field.
now that yes, I've done that as well. But that stand right outside there in Wrigleyville, it's these three ladies in there, and I mean, brutal. They're nothing. They hold nothing back.
Yeah.
If you stumble or stutter just a little bit on trying to order, they will kick you out of line
Okay.
and then make fun of you the whole time as you're walking back to the back of the line to reorder. It's yeah, but
And
you go there for
pay
the
for that like they would to
you
go
go for
to,
the
like,
experience.
Success Resort.
Yeah, like-
I've never seen that hot dog stand.
what? Oh, I've gone there like 4 times. It's amazing. It was featured on Conan, the night show.
I bet.
Like, it is hilarious. They brought remember the insult dog Triumph,
Yeah.
little puppet. They brought him up there one day, and was going back and forth with him on the show. That's how I found it. Was I saw that episode, and I was like, I have to go eat here.
I've always gone on the inside.
I made a trip, like literally went to Chicago just to eat at this hot dog stand because I wanted to see what it was like.
Interesting. All right, so I want to talk about Loco some more because I just keep looking around and I feel like I am in each part. I feel like I'm walking into a different thing. Like I'm walking into an herbalist store. I'm walking into Dad's garage.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about.
Well, this is it's Jesse's creation on the as far as decoration goes, and she's got a very unique talent for making things look cool, and that's what she's done in here. And the front of the store and the back, I don't know if you've been in the back yet, it's completely different. So in the back is our smoking rooms and for cigars, and it's all reclaimed barn wood, just like this wood here, but real dark and very comfortable. And then this is area's a lighter, airy. And so originally LOCO stands for Local Cooperative. I think the thought for that they had was that there'd be almost like an inside farmer's market.
Oh.
So it's kind of transformed, and so that's why, like, we have a local artist makes the candles that you see there. We've got Dr. Brad's supplements. We've got some of our CBD products are grown, are locally sourced.
Which we just had him in, right?
Yep, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that's, eventually as we time goes on, we may get some more vendors that are local. But right now we really concentrate on things that you like to do to relax, and all these things, whether it's cigars, sitting back having a beer, CBD products.
What I like is we're sitting in the front room right now, and you've got, just a door separating the smoking area and
Yeah.
this area, and I don't smell cigar smoke.
No, not at all.
Like even walking through a few minutes ago when I went back to the back,
Yeah.
it's not as strong because I'm not a smoker. I don't like to. It's not my thing. So, but walking through, you don't smell it. It
Yeah,
does. It's
we've
not
got it.
overpowering.
So how did you have to build that out to keep the?
Well, we've actually double insulated the ceiling. First of all,
Okay.
it's got plastic and some other material, and then there's that keeps it airtight. And then we've got 2 big fans that circulate and push it on the outside and the back of the building.
So is it really cold back there?
No.
Okay.
It's perfect. It's set at 72 degrees. It's very comfortable.
Okay.
And I'm not a smoker either. I enjoy cigar smoke, and I can sit back there, and we've had 20 guys back there, and it's not terrible at all.
Along with the big screen TV. Sports going on all the time back in the back.
It's the man cave back there.
It is.
There's
a lot of women that like to go back there though too.
Really?
Yeah.
It might be a spot that you hang out and watch ball games and just relax.
I can see this in 20 years. Like, you know how you hear about kids when they grow up, they're like, yeah, my dad was always out in the garage, or they were down the road at so-and-so's. They're going to be like, my dad was always at Loco.
Yeah. Well, if you're getting kicked out of the house for smoking cigars, then come here.
Or you just come here because there's kids at home and you want some
Yeah.
quiet.
That too.
Yeah, I'm not condoning any of that. Just think it's a great idea. all
Women are
around.
welcome too.
Yeah. That's actually the first purchase I saw here was a lady buying I think she bought a box of cigars. It was one of the first purchases I saw.
Really?
Yeah, it was the grand opening day.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had a woman, message me in from Facebook asking about certain cigars for her husband, so yeah.
So how do you, which I know nothing about cigars, so how do you know what
In the boat with you.
cigars to keep in here? Like, who picks the cigars?
So we've got a couple cigar aficionados that helped us with the initial order, and it's cigar people are like coffee people.
Oh,
there's
connoisseurs.
connoisseurs. So we've been told we have a very good selection,
Okay.
and the room is the humidor is size of a small bedroom, and it's full packed with cigars.
Wow.
So we have some really good choices.
So whose idea was the cigar?
Oh, Andy's. Andy
Andy's.
Davis. Yeah, he's. This is his. It could be considered his man cave away from home.
This is just a hodgepodge of certain, like, different personalities all
Yeah.
meshing together, and I love how, like, it just flows.
Yeah.
Because you literally feel like you're walking in. I mean, the tables over here with the glass bottles, the jars, the
all
coffee. It literally looks like you're walking into an herbalist area, and then you move over here and you've got the vintage chairs and the background, and you feel like you're walking into Dad's cave.
Yeah.
So it flows so
And
well.
we have a couple guitars. Kai was in yesterday morning. He picked it up for a little bit. It was kind of nice surprise.
Picking.
He can't walk past a guitar without picking it up and playing with it. Now, let's talk about the coffee, because y'all sell coffee in here as well, and that is something you're very passionate
Yeah,
about.
I'm very passionate about it because I roast it myself. I've been roasting it for about 7 years, and I just picked up this.
Monstrosity.
Yeah, and
This
actually,
contraption you're using, it's not just for decor.
no, that is what you roast the coffee in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
You thought it was just for
I
looks,
thought
didn't
it
you?
was just
it's like a little
yeah.
steam engine. I have a little one that's about this size. I've had at home that I've done for about 7 years, and I just took the leap of faith, and I bought this from a woman who had a successful coffee shop up north, and had it shipped here. And
So what does it mean to roast your own coffee?
well, the coffee beans, they come from the coffee tree is like a cherry tree, and so the bean is the pit of that cherry, and those pits, they dry out and they become what's called green beans, and if you smell them, they smell like earth or
Okay.
clay. They don't even smell like coffee beans. And 15 minutes inside of
15
the
minutes.
coffee roaster, they turn into that nice smelling coffee
So
bean.
can you roast it to get the different flavors? Is that when you're doing like the French vanilla or the
Well, those
medium
flavors,
blend?
yeah, those flavors are added. So each variety of bean has its own flavor profile. Like right now, I have some beans from Brazil, and they have like a dark bittersweet chocolate flavor to them. And I just put a little. I don't usually do sugar, but I tried some this morning, and it really brings out that chocolate flavor. But it's not flavored. It's just it's roasted correctly, and roasting's not as easy as throwing it in the oven. There's a lot of nuances with airflow and the speed of the drum and how much heat you're putting into it, and all that regulates what the final taste is going to be. So I can roast. The first batch you do a real small one when you get a new bean, just to test it out and what is it this certain time. As the beans are roasting, they go through what's called the first crack, where the air and water's escaping, and they crack like popcorn.
Okay.
And then they settle down, and then they go to what's called the second crack, which sounds like Rice Krispies and milk. And that is when you get your medium to dark roast. And so there's that time right after second crack that you want to pull that. For me anyway, that I like to pull it out. And so it's experimenting. Each bean's a little bit different. And so,
How did you get into roasting your own coffee?
well, back in Chicago, I'm a developer for programming software, and I had a buddy that was really into roasting coffee and was trying to develop an app. So I worked with him on creating his app to roast coffee. And at that time, I was put all the cream and sugar I can, get into the coffee. That's the way I liked it. And then he introduced me to really good coffee. And once you get that appreciation for it, then you get that passion.
Ah.
have a guest of honor here.
Well, yep, Jess has walked in,
Uh-oh.
making all kinds of racket. Can't take her anywhere.
Andy says it's hard to hear this mic, whatever mic you're on.
This mic.
Oh, we're
Good
gonna-
morning. Good
This
morning.
is the cutest little thing.
Isn't it? It looks like a furry little bug.
I know, it does. Like one of those little caterpillar
See, we got a
things.
problem here because I don't have you in any of my pictures.
Oh,
Here, why don't you sit over here, Jess?
Oh,
I'm gonna trade with you.
that's
Well,
okay.
you did fantastic.
Where's the best spot for this?
Wherever you want to sit.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, good. I need direction, obviously. And somebody keep my calendar.
We all need like a little assistant.
Sit it where it's pointing at you. The other way. You want the furry part. There you go. See, that works perfect.
Perfect.
It's so adorable.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm settling.
You're settling
I'm
it?
settling,
Take a deep
yes.
breath in. Oh,
Yes.
we're here. We're here.
I was sitting there and I took Scott said, your sister's making me nervous. I was like, I don't see, she hadn't got here yet. So I called and I was like, let me explain how this all went down. Was yesterday we moved some stuff around in here and Scott was like, Jess might not be happy with this.
Oh, come on.
Might not like the way it looked. I was like,
So good.
he said, we might talk about this tonight. And I was like, oh, that's fine. So I thought y'all were going to have a conversation last night, so it would have reminded you. So I didn't think, it's like, I don't need to call her. They're discussing it right now.
But I haven't forgotten about this. Like, I
Yeah.
hadn't. But
Wrong
I just
day.
it felt further. I don't know it all.
It's all right.
It's all,
It's all perfect.
it's wedding season kicked off this weekend as well. So it's got a lot going on.
I was talking to Jess Davis, and you own Soulflowers.
Yes.
the cutest little spot on the road.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think I've stopped several times and done just impromptu pictures.
People have, and that was the hope when we started to make it look like something. It's just been a work in progress. that's
I'm not
for
gonna
sure.
lie. The first time I drove by, I was like, "What hippie has moved in here? Like, what is
Oh,
going on?"
gosh. Well,
Like, I didn't realize it was an actual shop. I just thought somebody had thrown the word "soul" up on the side of a
That's what
building, and I was
thought.
like,
I didn't know for a while.
It's like,
I
I
think
like
that kind
it.
of freaked a lot of people.
I dug it.
Around. They're like, what's happening over there? But I think a lot of people have questioned for years, and so we always joke, kind of like people have come up with in their minds what they think is happening, because sometimes there's a ton of cars there, and there'll be nobody. It seems like, but yes, because we're not the everyday, retail.
No, but here recently I've seen cars there a lot.
Because we are busy.
And you've got like 4 or 5
I do.
cars there.
I have full-time employees and things like that, so.
"Look at you."
I know, business has grown and so, yeah.
The flower industry is one of those just crazy for me industries. Working when I was down in Florida, I did event coordinating for almost 10 years, and worked for a
I
wedding.
know this about you.
Oh yeah, I was worked in one of the top 10 wedding venues in Central Florida.
He's got a brain.
How have we never
That-
talked about this?
I don't know,
Oh
this
my
never came
gosh,
up.
I guess I had to come to the radio.
We were we were voted top in the knot for almost 8 years running.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we beat Disney out every year.
Well done.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
were.
feat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool.
I was food and beverage
know.
director for almost 10 years down there. And that's what I did. We did had a banquet facility, held close to 400 people in it, and huge wedding pergola outside, and the whole nine. It was at a golf course down there, 27-hole course, and I did anywhere from 2 to 6 weddings a weekend.
You're just one of those Renaissance men.
And
Just-
but the flower side of it
Right.
always fascinated me, because you see the florists come in and first it's kind of like cooking, to be honest with you. Like, you see all the ingredients and you're like, how is this going to go together? This doesn't even look right.
Yeah.
And then they start placing everything in just a little pattern, and it comes out gorgeous. And it's always amazed me how florists can make that happen.
Well, thank you. That's nice to hear. It is true. I think we come in and we make a big old mess, and everybody working, who's just
Looking
there
around
like,
going,
yeah,
"Oh,
who's
God."
working at the venue?
I
or
just
whatever.
vacuumed that spot.
I know.
Who
I
did
know.
you hire to bring in this disaster?
I know. They don't think, and cleaning up after ourselves is important. We start to finish. We follow through, but you do get these people who just start sweeping up around you, like that they're
Well, we're on a time frame. We got to get these things going, especially like with us, because we would do 2 or 3 weddings a day. So we're dealing with
Oh,
3
yeah.
different florists coming in and assembling and taking down to go through, and I'm like, look, y'all got to move.
And that's a different kind of florist too.
Yes.
Those corporate trained, kind of events. We're a more personalized,
Yeah.
custom.
You do a lot of the events around here. So what happens to the flowers afterwards? Do you get to repurpose them?
Well, I mean, it's up to whoever's event it is. We always try to help them figure out. We've had people bring them to, retirement homes or hospitals. I used to, a lot of times I used to, when I have, more time after an event, bring them to local. I'd bring them to my buddies over at Treasures, or when, Cook's Market had there, I would, Joe Carroll and them. So I'd try to drop them around, but a lot of times we try to make it so that the, people can bring them home from the wedding and or the whatever the event
Event.
is. But otherwise, yeah, it's a lot of. There's a lot afterwards that needs to go places.
Uh-huh.
One wedding we did, we used a ton of apples, and the bride brought it over to a stable and brought them all to the horses, and we thought that was a good idea.
Yep, that's
So
a great
people
idea.
are thinking about those things.
Mhm.
But it's,
Not to just let them go to waste because they're still so pretty.
oh, I know.
How long does a typical a setting last?
Well,
Is that what they're called, a setting?
Yeah, centerpiece set. Yes, I know what you meant. Yeah, no. It should last a week. But again, the difference between like an arrangement that you would send to somebody, for a birthday, and like a centerpiece for a wedding is that you're putting a ton of things into one vase that's probably not as big. So the water, people just have to keep it watered and all that. So there's a little more maintenance to it than I guess something that comes
So
daily. But
flowers are very seasonal, and you get a bride January that wants
Sunflowers.
or roses or something crazy. How do you find those and keep those?
well, things
You gotta
are
know
exported,
people.
imported,
Yeah.
so it's summer somewhere else and warm weather, but and of course we really the goal during local season here is we use as much as possible. I mean that's always the goal. So during our warmer months, we use all local flowers from any resource we can. But
Do you
then
have a
there's
lot of connections with?
yeah, I have one woman that I've worked with since I started, and I've watched her business grow as well. She's in Bedford County, and she's just she's really special to me. And then there've been quite a few that have popped up, around here, and so a lot of times I can resource quite a bit from them, which is
Do you do any of
wonderful.
your own growing?
I mean, we've had our yard. There's things I'll cut from for sure, but that's a whole job in itself. That is a whole other job.
So how did you get into flowers?
Well, that started. I was young. Flowers were always part of my life. I mean, I was always just drawn to them. And then I started working in a shop when I was 16 in my hometown, and it was a really unique situation. It focused mostly on events and big events and beautiful events, and to the point where I was like okay with missing what was happening on Friday and Saturday in high school because I just loved what I was doing and I loved the people I was working with. And so it just gave me this, access to an experience that was so unique that really just put me on a path. And then when I moved to San Diego, I moved there for weather purposes. So I was like, well, how can I be enjoying this weather as much as possible? And so I studied interior design a bit and kind of put all of these things together and was doing landscape and garden design there. And then when I moved here and realized that probably is obviously a whole different ball game, but wasn't really a big of a thing here, I realized that I could go back to the roots of the flower shop aspect, where I just kind of had something that wasn't here. It was just a different kind
Right.
of. I wasn't looking to do the everyday work, and I really wanted to focus in on the weddings and events, and so.
Now, can somebody just walk into Soulflowers if there's cars there and buy flowers?
Especially during the warm months when because we'll have like the local, I'll just buy weekly local flowers. And so, yes and no. That's
Okay.
kind of one of those answers that we're still,
Kind of
trying to
filling
educate
into?
people on, because we're trying to get there more. Now that I have more people, we can take on more of that sort of thing. So we do try to have flowers in shop, but
Husband
having
messes up, needs to apologize, wants to say I love you. Can he walk in and say I
yes
need?
and no, but we'll leave that to
Okay.
that's the other guys. There's a lot
Gotcha.
of great florists locally who've been
Okay.
here forever, and so we encourage people to still utilize them for that sort of thing. But we won't turn anybody away. We do. If you call and we can do it, we'll do it.
Okay.
And we're able to do that more often, but
All right, so I got to know, on the average day that ends in Y and Andy screws up, what flower does he buy you?
I mean,
Like, what's your favorite?
Isn't that the doctor's kids are always sick? And
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's like, I don't get
The contractor's house is never
I
finished.
can buy myself flowers.
Yeah, but what's your favorite flower?
Oh, now you're asking me, like, pick my children, my favorite child. That's a hard one, too. People ask me that all the time. And that's a hard one, but I'm like your peonies and lilacs and things, kind of the traditional. But I can't say. It's a hard one.
I like all the colors.
I know. Well, that's the beauty of what we do is everything's so custom. We want it to be such a personalized experience. So we're creating, the overall aesthetic from, top to bottom, and that gives us an opportunity to be creative and have all different modern styles and traditional. So I like it all. Design is part of it.
I love what you've done in here.
Oh, thanks.
And then, I was sitting and I was looking at how you've incorporated the flowers
Oh,
in different places.
Well, it's the interior. That's the interior design part I enjoy as well. And so this was fun to do. But that's where I'll come in and help make it look pretty,
Are
and
we
then
having-
leave the.
I guess we're having technical difficulties.
Technical
Is
difficulties.
Andy calling?
Yeah.
Is he saying it's hard to hear?
You want me to swap mics with her?
Are we? Okay.
No.
Is it muffled?
The little ones.
Yes.
We've got some common ground here.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yes. The infamous Beta and Aston. Have you? It's hysterical.
Are they like two little peas in a pod?
Oh, yes and no. I mean, it's like an old married couple, I think, in a way,
Aw.
too. Like, love each other one day, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, driving me crazy the next day. But we hear about Beta, every day, all the time. Mhm.
That is the sweetest little thing. And what's your daughter's name?
Live.
Liv.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I came in here for the grand opening and she came up to me, I had no clue, that they were even the same age.
Yeah.
And so I called my sister and I was like, I think I met one of Veda's good friends. And she's like, oh, yeah.
I know. Well, I know. I couldn't believe Liv walked up to you because she's usually the really shy one. But when I said, that's Sam over there, and she was like, no. And I was like, yeah, she just marched right over to you. So you had that vibe, that good vibe, because she really doesn't.
Aww.
But, I know.
I'm glad she did.
I know.
And then my sister had messaged me a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "How do I get in touch with Jess?" And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Instagram."
I know. That's how we have to do it these days. I'm like, when we were in school, we had what was called like a buzz book, right? You had every class listed and then phone numbers, and parents could opt out and
Right.
say like, I don't want to put my personal information, but they make it really hard to like contact each other to
Gotta
make
stalk each other on Facebook these days.
I know that's what everybody says, and I'm like, so that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay to just hunt people down and find them on Facebook, but I anyways, that's that whole other life, you know, the mom life.
So today's one of those fun moments where we're trying to figure out how to play with new things in different areas. So the mics are not working very well. But we got microphones and the cameras that are picking up fine.
Oh, that's
good.
great.
So we're going to a second option. Anytime you do something new,
I know.
it's always frustrating.
Trust me, I know. I know. It's learn as you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the twins, because I really
Mhm.
wasn't paying a lot of attention. I was trying to figure out the sound. They have such different personalities. Seeing those two out, like
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of, I don't know. Every time all the twins I've been friends with growing up have almost been identical.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've only had one set of maternal friends I've been friends with.
Mhm.
The rest of them are identical, and they're the same person.
Mhm.
Your two are like night
Totally.
and
Yes,
day.
they are. I know. It's good though. I mean, you need that yin yang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, otherwise it would be. And I think, are you speaking of boy girl too, or are you talking
I'm just like-
literally identical?
Like
Boy,
identical.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
There's one set of boy girl that I've been friends with down in Florida that were
Mhm.
twins, but they were still almost the same person.
yeah.
Like they did everything the same, hung out. You never saw them apart, but they could finish each other's sentences. They liked the same stuff. They did the same stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
that's odd.
Well, it's yeah. No, ours are very different, and as dependent on each other they are in some ways. Just naturally, you can't
Mhm.
avoid that. They're very independent of each other, you know, and we get that reported at school, even, you know, where they're doing their own things and they'll come together, but they're, yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for it because I know that that's what keeps the house balanced. I mean, there's not just over the top energy, you know, of competition or just, you know,
So
I need attention. I
Which
mean,
one's
really-
more laid back and which one's more?
Oh, Aston. Well, they're both real chill, honestly. But Aston is just really laid back, and Liv has just more of the tendencies that we're thinking about everything all the time. Us, like, you know, things don't get compartmentalized. Everything is, you know, and she's just she's, you know, has. It just
Has
a little
her
more-
thoughts
a
of
little-
how things should go.
yeah, but she, gosh, I mean, I always say, I'm like, we're either gonna pay for this like big time, like when they get in high school, because we should not be cruising along this easily. Like they are just really laid back, both of them, and easy, and it's, I mean, my goodness, it's been a pleasure. But
So which one of them has shown the most interest in the business?
that stuff goes in and out too. Like Liv got really into like where she would like she started making her own little flower crowns, and she like you. I learned from watching you, and I was like, oh my gosh, Milt. But right now they're into, you know, I mean, they started their kindergarten, so they're doing their own thing, so they're not as influenced right now by what we're doing. They like coming to Andy's office every so often, you know, and running around here. But we're kind of in that middle phase where it's like for a minute they're not interested, and I think they'll show interest again, and
Yeah.
I'll need them. I'll need to put them to work at some point.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
but
I remember, you know, growing up at the radio station with Dad, doing what they're 6,
mhm.
about that age. I did my first interview when I was 5.
Oh my gosh, do you have that on tape?
No, we wish.
Oh my gosh.
But, like, it was kind of one of those impromptu. Nobody realized it was going to happen until it happened. I can tell you the first question I asked on the radio.
What's that?
It was like I made a grown man cry.
What?
They were interviewing us when, at the time, Teddy McCauley was the sheriff,
Mhm.
and they were doing a program with state inmates,
Mhm.
and they brought them to the radio station to talk on air about a recidivism program they were doing. And I was sick; I couldn't go to school, so I was with Dad at the radio station that morning because somebody had to watch me.
Uh-huh.
And they were talking back and forth, and I was like, "Can I ask a question?" Sure. So he hands me the microphone. And I just looked at the guy and said, "What do your kids think about you being in jail?" And he just started crying.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember we're all done with Dad goes, I never would have expected that question
Yeah.
out of a 5-year-old.
Out of your
Yeah.
and coming out of the mouth of they
Yeah.
say, you know, I mean, was such an innocent and powerful question. You know, I mean, just wow, that's
But it's, like I said, I see the kids running around here, it's like hog days like that when they're all through
Yeah.
here. And, yeah.
well, we grew up. That's how we. I mean, family business is how, and that's. I mean, you always say like we would say my second home, but really I felt I was at the store more often than I was. You know, we had retail. Our parents got and we just you know, clothing and shoes. So having a small business is all we know, and yeah, it was more of a first home. I mean, I was there all the time, and I loved it. It was
Rylan at 3 can crush a lift off and knows how to, like, she demands she is making her own drink at the club.
see, isn't that cool?
Yeah, we have a new girl, and I was like, hey, will you make Rylan a drink?
I was gonna say,
And she stands there and she's like waiting for me to tell her. And I was like, oh no, she'll let you know.
She's like, let me just make that for it. Let me just do it.
At 3.
Yeah.
So they pick up.
I know, and I think it's, you know, I mean, see, I'm somebody, I feel so, I'm lucky, and I have always recognized that I found something that I love to do, and that work for me is like I get to do something that I love. It makes work enjoyable. It makes work, you know.
It's not work.
Well, right. Like I'm not just, you know,
You're
working to live.
creativity.
I'm also like,
You're
yeah,
promoting creativity and
it's-
you're teaching your
exactly.
kids.
That's what I want to also make sure is very clear for them, that I do this for my mental health as well as my creative health, and show them that you can, you know, do something you love.
Enjoy.
That work doesn't have to be like, oh, you know, just working to live.
I think growing up for me, it was great being able. Dad had a job that I could go be part of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know,
Yes.
sporting events. Like, you know, we're doing the award show Monday night, and I'm trying to write the opening part of that, and it's killing me. Like, I'm struggling through that.
You're overthinking.
Wow.
But
He's
it's just,
overthinking. He wants to be
emotional.
perfect.
It's like an emotional.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I mean, for me, growing up, most of my life was going with Dad to ball games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like from anywhere from the tip of Ohio all the way down to Florida.
Yeah.
You know, we followed Franklin County sports everywhere.
Yeah.
And so for me, getting to grow up and do that and how the impact it's had on my life,
Yeah.
I think, you know, having your own business and being able to have the kids come in and be a part of that,
Yeah.
you know, you don't really, I don't know how much you realize it at the moment, but you wish because you grew up with the same thing as your parents, you know,
Mm-hmm.
shop, but getting to realize, you know, what that means going
Yeah.
through life with your parents and getting to see them work and being able to be part of that as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge thing. I think kids really want to enjoy that, like looking later on back in life and seeing that.
Well, I think my business is still a bit of a mystery to them, because until you know, they've been in and out, but it's not a place that they could really come for a while, because there's a lot of there's not a lot of room to move around. I mean, it's small, but there's a lot of breakable things, and so they have their drawer there that they pull up, and it has, you know, drawing and markers and all sorts of like art stuff, and so they know where to go, and so they love coming and being able to do that. But I look forward to the days where they're getting to that age, and being there will be a little
Less stressful.
yes, a
Not
little
a bull in a
yes,
china shop.
yeah, or where I feel like I'm sucking the fun out of it, because I'm like, I got that, don't touch that, yeah, careful over there. So because, you know, I can tell they, you know, it's if you, from what you see from the outside and what we've done, when you walk in, it's unexpected, you know, and so we do encourage, if there's cars there, even if you're not going to just pop in and peek, because we're proud of what, I mean, it's a
Right.
creative, it's a beautiful space, and I think it gives people inspiration and, you know, ideas. You know, it's really lovely. So we do encourage, although if we do look like deer in headlights when you do peek in, don't take. Sometimes we freeze, and then we make the people walking in kind of freeze and feel like, because we're like, did we forget a meet? Oh my gosh, we're looking at each other, and then we have to snap out of it and go, hello, welcome, and not make them
Get
feel
past
like
that
they
initial
should
shock.
not walk over the threshold there, because yes, I know. So
Now, how does somebody go about placing an order with you? And how far out do they need to start booking with you?
Well, it's got, I used to be able to answer that easily, but really since COVID, everything is still unraveling from chaos. So where we used to have things, start the planning a year out, and by 6 months we kind of had it all squared away. I mean, we are still kind of finalizing things. So, I mean, we really are getting calls to do weddings still between the 9 and, it's about 9 months out, which, that would have been, that would have been kind of abnormal. Normally it would have been a year, more
Okay.
time, but everybody, I mean, so it's not just us, it's just even brides. It seems the whole industry is just now, everything is more in a
Crunching it in.
crunch.
Mhm.
Yes, and so it's gotten busy. But as far as then the daily stuff, if you call the day before, and like I said, some days the day of, we can absolutely help. But I do still like to support the other local florists on those daily things
Right.
too, because our thing, what I said, our focus, the events and weddings is doing really well, and so we're doing what we love, and hope,
Do you have a signature arrangement you like to do?
I'm so glad you asked that.
Oh.
We are going to be rolling out that sort of thing, and it's going to be called Soul Signature, and it will be we have a candle that we have created and are making that will pair with a small arrangement that you can send, just as a birthday, just a happy to somebody,
Yeah.
and it'll be and so there'll be that pairing, and we haven't launched that yet, but it's
Coming soon.
all the ingredients are there, and so it's just
Now you do a lot with Walnut Hill and a lot with Treasures.
Mhm.
Are those regularly set up things, or is it impromptu? What?
When Walnut Hill first opened in their space, we did that regularly with them, and it was just a good partnership for both of us. I just adore them, and they when they started with their little truck, they gave me a boost of re-inspiration and energy, because I just felt like what they were doing in their meticulous, the detail. I felt kindred, and so we formed a really nice friendship, and so we did the Flower Friday for a while, and if something comes up, we'll do it again. But there's nothing regular at the moment. And then Treasures, we started with they're dear friends of mine, and so we started with Valentine's Day, and they supported me. I mean, that was them absolutely supporting me, and I'll never give that up. That, to me, that Valentine's with them is one of my favorite times of year, and it's very special. And then we'll do some random things with them, but and that was kind of at the peak of the pop-up shop thing.
Yeah.
And I'd say that that's not right now as exciting
Right.
to people.
No, it's kind of been
yeah,
overdone at
yeah,
this point.
it has. And so we, but it brings up another good point as far as ordering from us. We do always try to do something for the big holidays, so you can find us at Treasures for Valentine's Day, but Mother's Day or even, Easter or something like that, we can.
Mother's Day's coming
Mother's
up.
Day, yes, don't forget about the mamas.
So,
Or dropping kids at school and then getting on the radio and,
Yeah.
going to work.
exactly. Do you have anything that you're doing especially for Mother's Day?
No, I mean, everything like that we do, it's kind of, we will put something out the week of
Okay.
and show, there will be something. As far as what the details on that are, we'll put something out, about the end of the week before.
Gotcha.
And then, so there will, yes. So don't forget the mamas.
I almost forgot about Mother's Day.
You are the mom. Everybody else should be remembering.
I mean, I did send a message to Scotty and Taylor that said, if somebody is wondering what mom would like, these are two things very high on her list.
Oh, was yours like mine, like a night alone in a hotel room?
No, I
somewhere?
wish. I've actually asked to go on a quarterly silent retreat.
Oh,
So,
I mean, that sounds about the same of what I'm looking for. Just some silence. Yes. Just
Just calm.
I couldn't do that.
No, hey mama, hey mama,
Yeah.
hey mama, mama, look at me.
I know. I know.
Mama, watch
I know.
this. We're driving down the road, and my 3-year-old says, "Mama," and I turn around. I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Watch me," and I'm like, "I'm driving."
Oh, I know. That's always look at. I know while I'm driving. I'm like, oh my goodness, I know.
So my rearview mirror isn't always pointed at the road.
I know. That's tilts. That's always at that.
So I can be like, I see you, I see you.
I know.
Much
I know.
safer than me driving like this.
Uh-huh. I know. I know.
Well, we're getting towards the end of the show. You got
Okay.
your questions you like to ask.
Yes. All right. Let me think about my questions that I like to ask. So the first question is, if there is something that you could share, it doesn't have to be flower or business related, but is something that you think if more people knew and understood or took to heart, the world would be better. What do you think that would be?
Well, I mean, I really have always been somebody who's like, and this is not like in a like, oh, I'm so like in the moment person, but I'm not like a future worrier. I mean, just I've had kids,
No
I worry about
anxiety.
their, things like that, but for me, no, I'm an anxiety-filled
Oh,
person,
really?
but that's come with kids too, I think, though, and just, a little bit older age and more responsibilities, but because I'm more of like a daily person and what feels good for today and now, I would go back to really just how important I am, like a promoter of, like, obviously work is part of life. You have to make money, you have to have routine, you have to, and so if you can believe that there's something you love to do and can make a life out of it, then everything all the way around, because those are the things that keep you when all the other things come into your life, kids, husband, wife, significant other, you start to lose little bits because you were sharing it with everybody else. And so the things that will, keep your identity safe.
Now, do you find that when you got married, you became a mother, like you had to stop for a second and say, wait a second, like, who is Jess? Who am I? And kind of pull that back.
Well, and all the time.
All the
I
time.
don't think ever stops once you're committed to
You find that
other
harmony.
people,
Yeah.
because you're trying to, just coexist instead of just be independently doing whatever you want to do every day. So yeah, I mean, and I think having the support of those people you have in your life and understand why your things are important.
And also having the same
Helps that.
respect and theirs are important to them
Yes,
as well.
yes, because it's all. I mean, I love what I do, but there's times it's very stressful, and so that doesn't mean all of a sudden I don't like what I'm doing. It's just that it's it's still work, it's still responsibility, it's still
Expectation.
expectation and obligation to others. I mean, now I have employees. Now I'm responsible for other people, and then my clients. You've taken on one of their most important events in their life. I mean, these are
Little
I
girls
love
start
what I do,
dreaming.
but it is it doesn't mean it's perfect all the time, and you're not right. But yeah, ultimately, I would just encourage. I enjoy working. I mean, it was always
Do
a
what
big
brings
part.
you joy.
Mm-hmm.
Find what brings you joy.
And work for
I do
me is
that.
part of that. Like work, like I like to work. I enjoy it. It gives me.
Do you feel you respond better or like to what's going on? Like, is that what helps you get through the day? Is like you're in response as long as you're doing, if it brings you joy, like you check in, do I want to do this or do I feel like I have to do this? And so you're responding through joy.
Definitely, yes. I pay attention to this whole burnout, thing. I think that's become a cultural word, right? But it's very true. But I do check in because if I ever start to feel like I'm not looking forward to it, that will be devastating. I mean, that really will. But I'll have to ask why, and if I'm just putting too much on my plate at the time, because I don't want to lose out on. My kids are getting to an age now. I mean, what I do is weekend warrior stuff, and so now they're, let's say get into sports, and so but it seems, I really believe that you do good and be authentic and all these things and live right and things will fall into place. And so hiring, you know, when Jen came on full time, I don't know what I would do without her. She's changed for the friendship and for the work relationship. But we've gotten to a point now, like, I didn't work these last 2 wedding weekends. Like, she and the other girls did. And so I was with my family and I got to go float the river with them and do these things and didn't think twice about it. And so I feel like it's evolving all just at the right time where I will be able to enjoy my family again and the kids in the stage that they're at. And then, you know, also still have this other
Have a great balance.
stuff. Yeah, you
Harmony.
know? I mean, it won't always be easy like
Nope.
that, but it seems
Flow
to be
is
going
beautiful,
yeah.
isn't it? It just
Patient.
feels so good.
Yes, it does.
Find flow.
Yes.
So this one kind of leads out of that one, but it's still very different to me. What is your life motto? What do you find yourself telling your kids even?
Oh gosh. That's interesting. I mean, I think it would at least I think those are still very connected for me. I'm proud of that I'm not a future warrior. You know what I mean? I do think that, I mean, there's gray area in that. I don't want to say I don't want to take into literally don't worry about your future, right? I mean, of course, but to just do things that feel good for you, and that's taken me a long time, even though there's a lot of areas that I have always done that, where I just feel like I'm always living, you know, in the moment, but doing things that feel right for me, you know. And so, you know, as far as the typical stuff would be good to people, tell the truth, you know, those kind of things, and just be authentic. I mean, I find that word comes up a lot for me. So I guess authenticity is probably a drive. It's probably it's a blessing and a burden, but
No,
it drives me a
feel
lot.
like that's what makes you so relatable. And people, you know, they're like, I really like Jess, or she's got such a great energy. And I think it is that you show up authentically, and people don't feel like they have to try and figure out like what it is about you. It's just there.
That's really nice. Thank you. That's really nice.
All right. So where can people find you?
Oh, you missed one.
No, I didn't.
Shut up.
I'm coming back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming
Sorry.
back.
Maybe you two are turning into an old married couple over there too.
This is a work marriage.
Yes, it is. I know. But see, those, you know what though? And those are like, because in life, like as you get older, right? We don't have these outlets to you know, have the friendships, and as an adult, it becomes so. When I mean, this is like my Jen. I mean, to have this person that, you know, you get to. It's those are blessed. I mean,
They
really,
are.
it's so rare.
Ricky's one of my best
Yeah,
friends.
it's just rare. I mean, I don't know how long you all know each other, but to be able to work together is a very different level of, you know, of friendship and really important. That's really nice. What did you ask me now?
Where can people find you?
Oh, people find me, well, all over the place, but we're in Estill. The shop's in Estill. It's just right down from Factory Furniture.
If you see cars,
Love
you're
them.
welcome to stop in.
Please,
and peek around.
yes. Let your curiosity lead you in, because, like I said, it is worth seeing inside. It's, you know, the little tin box has a really
Like the-
beautiful inside.
Aw.
Lots of things to
You've got
look at.
Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, Facebook.
What is it?
Instagram.
Is it Soul Flowers? Wait, on your Instagram though,
it's
is your
T.
name in there?
No.
Okay,
Well, I have my personal one,
Okay.
and then there's Soul Flowers TN.
gotcha.
So you can find us there, and then Facebook would be just Soul Flowers.
And if somebody wanted to book with you, is your number or they can message
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
find us all. So yeah, there's, you know, we have a website at soulflowers.org, which ORG. But yeah, through Facebook. I mean, we have, you know, there's multiple ways to find people. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
you can't get lost.
Not anymore.
No.
If you didn't find me, you weren't looking.
I mean, yes. And yeah, if I didn't get messaged by you in 5 different areas, then, then
So-
you weren't looking.
Then the last question that Ricky thought that I forgot.
Which is the one I've been thinking about the hardest because
Okay,
there's
so
just-
if there is someone that, or a business individual that you would like to give a shout out to, who would that be?
Wow, which is kind of why I naturally would have brought the people up that I did while we were talking, like my treasures, and you brought up Walnut Hill and all it. But I was thinking about Lisa Leho Skin because she's just, I don't even like, she's one of those people I feel I know, but like we don't even know each other that well. But I've been to her a few times, and Andy's gotten his
You just
haircut by her forever.
gravitate to her.
And she's just funny and that really subtle, dry humor, and she's just good, and her treatments are lovely, and so I would definitely.
I have
like
been
to
to her
hers.
website 4 times to schedule an appointment, and every time I get to like the checkout point, like where I make it solid and committed,
Mhm.
and something happens, and then I lose track, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
oh
I know
man,
that. I know that story too. That gosh, that is a life. But make it happen. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
You've got to. And she's just.
That's one we gotta get on here.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that
Oh, and she can sing. I've just discovered this too. She was
I-
posting
on
some
Instagram?
videos. Yes, and I'm going. She can sing. Who is? She's just. Yeah, she's just a cool chick. So
She really
I,
is.
yeah,
I'm
you
glad
need-
she's doing that because I've known that forever.
Oh,
We went to school together, bro.
Yeah.
Aw. I love talking books with her. Like, I ask her, like, what books are you reading? Because she always leads you in a great direction.
Well, that's it. Yeah, she's one of those people who just seems to know stuff about every. Like she could talk to anybody,
Yeah.
and find something. She's
And always
just
been
cool.
that way.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe
Always.
that. She's like that old soul, whatever it is, but she
is.
authentic. She seems just
She is.
good.
She is Leho.
Yes, she's so yeah. I think she deserves all the shout outs. I just
I
like her.
agree.
But she's not the only one. There's tons.
There are
We got
tons.
lots of good people.
All right, so it is 9:04.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you made it in
I
here.
know. Thanks, guys. Oh my gosh.
It has been a pleasure. And Scott, it was great talking with
Yes.
you as well.
Thanks, my brother.
You are
Stepping in. Yeah, literally. Yes, I know.
So-
We've got all sorts of family connections around here.
Well, thank y'all for coming in and talking with us, and I hope everybody enjoys this rainy day.
I know.
And we'll figure out some of these technical difficulties for the next time.
Yes.
Got it.
I'll come back and put it on the right day on my calendar.
Thank y'all.